All right. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to our Monday night Zoom where we get together with our Scentsy family, and I love getting together with you guys. And tonight I have a few videos that I want to show you guys because I think we can all use a little bit of motivation. And I already thanked everyone for coming here. We already have 43 people on. Thank you for spending your Monday night with me. I love it when you guys are here with me. But I know we are all going through a lot of stuff. And we were just kind of talking about that because if you were on the Zoom, you would have heard all the secrets that we were talking about. So you missed on the secrets if you weren't on Zoom. So I really appreciate everyone that is on the call. I want you guys to think about any questions that you guys have. Okay, so think about any questions. I'm going to want to answer them later on. If you guys are working on something, I would love for you guys to share them later on as well, because if you have any new tricks or tips, I would love to hear about it. But guys, we are in business. We are entrepreneurs, and being an entrepreneur means you wear a lot of different hats. Okay. And and feel free to tell me anything good. Tracy just said she's 439 PRV away from sensational start level 3. Woo, Tracy, this is amazing. Tracy, that's amazing. I think less than 10 people in our whole group got sensational start level 3. All right. So that's a big deal. Okay. Max is almost lead. Oh my gosh, amazing. Diane's getting surgery on Thursday. Okay, lots of great news. Great things are happening. Julia double promoted to lead this month. Woo, Julia, that's amazing. Samantha got 2 new teammates this month. Oh my gosh. Leah got 10,000 lifetime PRV. Woo! 140 PRV away from 2,000 PRV. Isabella, yes. Okay, now this is the kind of meeting that we need because you need to be with like-minded people, all right? So Monday meetings are really important because you guys are grabbing this energy. Energy goes right through the computer. So we need to stay motivated. But in business, Moza Gilroy got 3 recruits. Colleen's over 2,000 PRV. Amazing. Okay, so we have to wear a bunch of different hats, okay? And one of the hats is like consistency and managing and doing all the things. But then sometimes life throws you a football or a whatever. And then, life is really hard. So how do we get back up? How do we do that? Well, one of the things that I do is that I really like watching motivational videos. So I'm going to share this California teacher whose story video. It's 10 minutes long, but it's so inspiring. And I think all of us can just understand. Let me see if I could. If they see 3 other questions. It's going to repeat it themselves. Okay, it's so good. We're going to go through struggles in business. Yes, we are selling wax. Yes, we are trying to sell a business opportunity. But guys, this is all about empowering ourselves. It's all about personal growth. That's what we're really selling here. And that's what we're really doing. Because if we don't grow as an individual, if we do not grow, our business is not going to grow. All right. So we need to stay inspired. We need to stay motivated constantly so that we have the courage to do the things that we don't want to do. So that we have, even though we're afraid to go live, that we go live anyway. Okay. You should not be lagging because I'm connected right into my, okay, let me see. Okay, I want to share this. Okay, 1 second.
California teacher whose story was turned into a movie.
I think anybody in that situation, you have to be scared out of your mind.
I was told that my kids would never read a book because they were too stupid.
It's actually school policy to shame the poor kid.
There was no way in hell that somebody like her was ever going to make a difference in my life.
The gangsters, the taggers, the chronically apathetic.
Stop acting like you're trying to understand our situation.
That was very evident, but they didn't want to be there. I just get so emotional when I talk about them. I am not a counselor. I am not a therapist. How am I supposed to help these kids change?
40% of high school students have failing grades. You guys, 40%.
Some of the world's worst public schools, they're going to turn into criminals.
A young girl walked in wearing an ankle monitor. She had a black eye, and she had a probation officer standing in the corner of my classroom.
I was scared of Maria, worried that she might shoot me if I said the wrong thing.
She was so defiant. She wrote, "I hate Aaron Grewell, and if I wasn't on probation, I would probably shank her."
She tried to get to know me, and I made her pay for that.
All I wanted my students to do was put down that fist, put down that rock, put down that gun. At first, it wasn't so easy.
How did the first day of school turn tragic?
I initially explained the rules. We're going to stand on opposite sides of the room. Here's this tape in the center. I'm going to ask questions, and you come. My students thought, this woman is crazy. Why is she asking questions that have nothing to do with education? Question after question, they giggled, they came, they did fist bumps, high fives, they rolled their eyes, and that line became that gravitational pull. That the questions became real. And then I asked a question, and I should have phrased it differently. And I just said, "And the line, if you have ever been homeless."
Whoa.
And out darted Sue Ellen. Went to that line like she had done on every other question about Snoop or movies or every other question. And she realized, I am all alone. And I watched her look at her feet. I think she just wanted to disappear. I think she thought in her head, hurry, ask another question. I just want to go back to the wall. I don't want to be seen. Because if they see me, they're going to know. They're going to know that I'm that girl that doesn't know where I'm going to sleep tonight. And as she stood there looking at her feet, not wanting to acknowledge anyone or anything, suddenly out of nowhere came this beautiful girl with these bouncing braids, Tiffany. And when I asked that question originally, Tiffany told me she took a deep breath and walked backwards. And she saw Sue Ellen standing on that line all alone, and she realized that is my story. Tiffany walked to that line and she looked at every single one of us. She wanted us to see her. This little girl would stand on the corner of the busiest street in Long Beach, and she stood there with a cardboard box, "We'll work for food." So at the age of 14, that little girl was out on that street every single day. And yet she was standing on this line in this classroom. But she was so regal. She was so courageous. It's like she owned her story. And in owning her story in that glorious moment, out came Narada, this beautiful boy. And he stood by Sue Ellen, and he stood by Tiffany, and he stood there and he owned his story. And at that moment I knew, this is gonna change that game. And then in walked this little girl. She was so defiant. She had an ankle monitor. She had a probation officer. She had a father who was in a maximum security prison. And I found out that she had just been released from juvenile hall a few days before school started.
There was no way in hell that somebody like her and that looked like her was ever going to make a difference in my life.
So she picked up her pen and she wrote, "I hate Aaron Grewell, and if I wasn't on probation, I would probably shank her." And in that moment, there was a part of me that panicked and I thought, I am not a counselor. I am not a therapist. How am I supposed to help these kids change? And I was told by the chair of my English department that my kids would never read a book from cover to cover because they were too stupid. So without really thinking it through, I just got in my car and I drove to a bookstore and I ordered 150 copies of the Diary of Anne Frank, and I gave them the book. Well, when I gave Maria the opportunity to pick up that book, at first it wasn't so easy because she truly did not want to read it. In her mind, Anne Frank was not Latina, Anne Frank did not come from the hood.
I opened this stupid book because in the back of my mind, I thought that I was going to prove this girl wrong.
She would come back every day and she would ask questions about Anne, kind of in juxtaposition to her gangster mentality. And I realized that she's actually reading.
It started getting interesting when things started going bad. That's when I thought, okay, maybe she's not this spoiled little girl that I thought she was. Maybe she doesn't have a perfect little life. And that's actually when I took a liking to her. I came to the entry where she's describing this window, her only connection to the outside world. She couldn't even put her hand outside because one of the Gestapo or somebody would know that they were in hiding. when then this bird lands close to her, to the tree and outside the window. And she writes, sometimes I feel like a bird in a cage and I wish I could fly away. I was able to relate to that feeling of knowing the outside world and only having this certain connection to it. And from that on, I knew she was going to make it. She had to make it. She was going to make it because why else would we be reading this book? And she's going to make it because she's a good person and she hasn't done anything wrong.
Maria came in one day, stormed in, and threw the book across the classroom and said, "Why didn't you tell me?" And I was kind of taken aback, and I said, "Tell you what?" And she said, "Why didn't you tell me that Anne dies?"
At the very end, when she doesn't make it, I felt that disappointment that I felt every other time in my life when I really believed in something. It was that same feeling of going to the window and waiting, hoping that my father was going to come home, and he didn't. Every feeling of disappointment all of a sudden came crashing together at that moment because I so desperately wanted her to make it. Because if she didn't make it, then what were the chances of somebody like me, a bad person, actually making it out?
I felt horrible. I felt horrible because I just assumed that maybe she had known. I just assumed that everyone knew that Anne Frank was this iconic figure of this tragedy. I never wanted to take away my students' hope. She did make it, Maria. She did make it because she wrote about it. Because Anne Frank wrote about it. She's going to go on living even after her death.
For the very first time, I felt myself changing in a way that I couldn't explain or I couldn't describe.
Well, I wanted to give Maria and 149 others an opportunity for a second chance. And maybe they couldn't change that cast of characters they were dealt, but maybe they could rewrite their story. Maybe they could rewrite their own ending. So we decided that we were going to write to the woman who hid Anne Frank. At that time, she was 87 years old. She was living in Amsterdam. My students sat down at computers, the first time ever, and began to write and tell their story. When that 87-year-old woman, a simple secretary who had helped 8 people in an attic for 2 years in the middle of a war, in the middle of the Holocaust, when she sat down to read my students' stories, I think she saw something in them that she saw in Anne. Promise, potential, hope. She decided to hop on a plane, regardless of the color of their skin, regardless of the side of the street they came from, regardless of what their parents did or didn't do. And she walked into our lives, and she gave my students a challenge. She challenged my students to make sure that Anne's death was not in vain. And in the distance, I saw Maria, this tiny little girl who would wear this ankle monitor every day, and her pants were sagging. And for the first time, she was this vision. And she said, "I don't want to be pregnant by the time I turn 15 like my mom. And I don't want to spend the rest of my life behind bars like my daddy. And I don't want to be 6 feet under by the time I turn 18 like my cousin. I want to change." And change she did. I watched 150 kids who weren't supposed to make it be the first in their families, the first to graduate from high school, be the first in their families to go off to college. My students went on to write a book. They'd never read a book before, and then they went on to write a book that was the #1 book in America. My students were able to take their story and put it on the big screen. For a group of 150 students, change meant that they could rewrite their own ending. Change is possible. At any time, at any moment, anyone can become something bigger. Be brave, be bold, change the legacy, and change the person you will become.
Boom. Zoom. So good, because you know what? I see promise in you guys. I see hope in you guys. I see people who are struggling, who have a story just like you guys, who may not think that nobody cares or that nobody understands. But there are people who love you. There are people who understand. There are people who see so much of you. So many people are constantly watching you online. They're not commenting. They're not saying anything, but you are inspiring them because there's so much going on in your life, yet you're still taking the time to work this little wax business that you have such a big goal for, but that you're possibly just terrified to do because of everything, all the resistance that's coming after you. So when I watch that and I'm thinking about my life and I'm thinking about everything that's going on in my life, I'm thinking, you know what? There's nothing that we cannot do, guys. There is nothing we cannot do. We can all be superstar directors, but you need to want to be there. First of all, you need to know what's your next goal. You know, it's not your sponsor that's going to get you there. It's not your director that's going to get you there. The only person that's going to get you there is you. Those students had to open up to the teacher. They had to trust her, that there's someone that loved her. And that's what they all needed, is love. And that's what we all need, is love. We all need love. Love heals. Love strengthens us. Love gives us courage. And there's so much love inside of you. There's so much courage inside of you. You just need to go out there and get it. And you can all, thank you, Candace, for reminding me, you can all rewrite your ending, okay? Most people who are successful, it's not in your DNA if you're going to be successful or not. It's if you decide to rewrite your ending. Most successful people who are entrepreneurs don't even have an education. It's just, you know what? Maybe people told them that they were stupid so many times that they want to prove themselves to the world. And I feel like that's kind of me. I barely passed school. You know, they tried to suspend me and kick me out of school just because, you know, I wasn't the greatest student. I've had like over 35 different jobs. I was just never really successful at anything. And do you think I want to sell wax? Heck no, I was way too cool to sell wax. I want to sell something cooler. I was a salesperson. I love sales. But I love people. I know I love people. I love motivating people. I love inspiring people, but I didn't know that that's what I like doing. I'm really good at talking to people. I'm really good at moving my hands and talking really loud. I didn't know. But then Scentsy just came into my life, and Scentsy came in your life for a reason. Scentsy came in your life for a reason. And maybe you're not where you want to be. But if you keep focusing on that energy of where you don't want to be, that you're not really want to be, that's the magnet that you're attracting. You're attracting, oh, I want to be there. Oh, I don't have any customers. Oh, la, 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 la. That's the energy you are attracting. If you every day wake up, I am so proud of everything I've accomplished. I have some amazing loyal customers. I am actually still active in Scentsy. You are active. You're here. You're still a consultant. You're active. Yay. At any moment, you can shift your whole business. So, and two, you can then move mountains with your business. But if you're like, okay, so I'm lead, now I need to go start. So you're going to wake up and be like, woo! Okay, are you bringing me to star, universe, leprechaun, whatever you believe in? Are you bringing me to star? I'm ready. I want some recruits. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Having that type of energy is going to attract it. I promise you. Julie Omnet used to do it all the time. She'd go outside and be like, okay, universe, I need a new recruit. I'm excited. I'm going to get it. And you feel it and you feel excited inside. And it just happens. Like, we are a magnet of what we are. We are all tuned to a certain frequency. And that's the problem with sometimes being depressed. You're tuned into depression and you don't get out of your depression bubble, you know? And I feel like I'd be in depression, massive mode, if I didn't have Scentsy, where I have to like, okay, get out of it, Annette. You got to go motivate a bunch of people. And then now I'm all excited. I'm getting sweaty in my armpits and my crotch because every time I get motivated, I get sweaty on my armpits and my crotch. It just always happens. It's just too much information. And like, my blanket is a heated blanket. I had to shut it off because my crotch is getting way too sweaty. So anyway, but it revives my soul. I just got a message from a girl who wants to book a Scentsy party from me, and she actually sent me a video of an anti-masker as anti-masker plan freedom rally. Oh, cool. Amazing. So I just love it. You know what, guys? 2020 started sharing a bunch of stuff, but like I actually ended up making a bunch of new friends. And now one of the people I attracted from sharing my truth online, this girl now wants to do a Scentsy party. So you know what? You share your truth. There's always a way of doing it, spinning it. And every action has a reaction, okay? Every action has a reaction. You know, if you're watching all your shows on Netflix, when you could be working your business, every action has a reaction. What are you telling the universe? That you don't need more customers? That you don't really need to organize your business? Are you at a level where you could just watch a series in 3 days? Or do you really want to get to the next level? If you really want to get to the next level, you will do the work. Okay? All right. There's another video we're going to watch. It's 24 minutes. It's Jennifer Anderson. I freaking love her. If anybody has questions for me right now, you can ask me. Yes, I needed this. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, I can do this. Thank you, Annie, for reminding me why I am doing this. Yes. Okay. So, guys, I'll just tell you something too. At the beginning of my Scentsy career, I didn't really know anything. And I kind of still don't really know anything. I kind of just roll with the punches, okay? Like just because I'm a superstar director doesn't mean I know a lot of information. And most of you guys sent me questions. I'm like, I don't really know. So how did I get to where I am right now? How did I get to where I am right now? I have no fucking clue. No, it's my passion. It's my excitement for the products. It's my excitement for my community. I keep talking about the community. That's what I've been talking. Then people are like, what is this? I want to try that. And Nick, you get so excited when you talk about Scentsy. I want that. And Nick, I don't know, your Facebook is just so passionate. You're full of passion and so much love. Nick, I want a little bit of that pie. Okay? I'm not just sharing a bunch of flyers. I'm like sharing my life. And then I'm sharing my Scentsy in my life and life in my Scentsy business. You know what I mean?
I did that in one of my parties, and I had a girl that was a Love Zebra or whatever, Pink Zebra fan.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's okay. Like, I'll send you out samples for you to try out, blah, blah, blah. She asked me today to join.
Boom! Yeah.
And I was just like showing off her product, just like giving it to her, like just.
So, like, join the business?
Yeah.
And she's a Pink Zebra girl? Does she have Pink Zebra, like, people?
Like, she had people that she was buying off of.
Oh, okay.
She said that she rather.
Okay, so she was a customer of Pink Zebra? Okay, she wasn't a Pink. So, okay, amazing. Pink Zebra? It's just a copycat of Scentsy anyways. Amazing, Stacy. I'm so pumped for you. Whoop, whoop. Okay, I thought someone else wanted to say something. So Jennifer did this video that I watched today, and I thought that you guys would really appreciate this. And it's like, what to do when you don't know what to do. And I feel like a lot of us can totally appreciate this. So let's watch this together.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Anderson, Superstar Director of Radiant Rockstars. And it's Tuesday night, Rockstar Rally Night, my favorite night of the week.
Sorry, I'm just going to move my windows over.
Just sharing how I don't really have a specific topic for tonight or a specific title, but it's more of a heart story and more of a, hey, here's what's on my heart, here's what I've been going through, because I feel like probably some of you have been to, and in fact, I know some of you have been to because of conversations I've had or text messages I've had with you, and there's a lot going on in the world and in Scentsy. And how many of you feel maybe a little bit tired?
You guys are seeing Jennifer Anderson right now, right? Yes? Okay.
Yes, but she's hard to hear, Nick.
Okay, let me see. Let me move it over. Maybe it's because I have it on my computer, my other screen. Oh, okay, I know why.
How many of you feel overwhelmed?
Better?
Okay. How many of you feel anxious at times? Okay. So in case you can't see the screen, and for those of you watching on YouTube, like almost every hand in our room is up or has been up or went up for one or all of those things. You know, and tonight I just kind of want to talk about that a little bit, and what does that feel like, and how do you build and run a business? How do you grow your business even feeling that way or going through those things, or when life isn't normal or perfect, or wrenches are thrown in, or things that you don't expect kind of come your way, you know? So the reality is, like, I don't even really know what normal looks like. And does anyone have a consistent life where everything is the same week after week?
No.
No. But I think the problem is we plan our business and we hope to build our business around a life that is consistently the same week after week after week. And then when that isn't presented to us, we get disappointed, right? Or when that doesn't happen in our life, we freak out, or we say, I can't do this, or this isn't for me, or I guess this just won't work. Or I guess I can't get that promotion with Scentsy, or I guess I'm just not going to make annual sales, or I guess annual mentor isn't for me, or like incentive is out the window. Like, we just say all these things when we have basically set ourselves up for failure from the very beginning by setting this expectation that our life is never going to have any bumps, and that our business is never going to have any bumps, and that it's just going to be smooth sailing and I can just do this like this. And when we want that for our business, it's okay to want that. But I want to challenge you to maybe change your desire a little bit and focus in on how you can work and build your business around a life that changes constantly, around a world that changes constantly. So some struggles with this when your life and world change constantly. One of the biggest struggles is consistency. How many of you feel like you struggle with consistency? I hear it time and time again across the board. You were really, really hot one week, and the next week, right? And then because you were that week and you were hot the week before, you're comparing this week to the week before. And then so week number 3 totally sucks because you're like, man, I just really suck and I blew it. And you end up in this cycle, right, of self-deprecating talk. And we think bad about ourselves and like, oh, this isn't for me and I can't do this, right? And the reality is, we have to be flexible enough to be able to take what life hands us. And we have to be flexible enough to be able to take what our business hands us. And thank God for Scentsy, because any other job or company or anything like that in the world would never be able to ebb and flow with life like this business opportunity does for you. Okay, thank God for Scentsy. When life gets hard, or your kids need a little bit more attention, or you need a little bit more attention, like you need to take care of your body or go to the gym or meal plan, or you need to rest, or you need to take a bath or read a book, right? If you need more attention, or your kids or your house needs more attention, or your spouse needs more attention, right? When any of these things happen and you have a regular 9-to-5 or a regular job, like there's no flex there. There's no flex. But with Scentsy, you can kind of move priorities to the side and adjust with the ebb and flow of life. And I want to say that I'm so grateful for that part of this business, because there are times when my life demands a lot of time or a lot of attention or a lot of emotional attention. And if I had to work a regular job, I mean, I'd freaking lose my mind. You know what I mean? And probably some of you who have to work a regular job or who work a regular job can identify with that, because there's no flex. So what I want to tell you is, and this may not be everyone's dream or idea or goal, and that's totally okay. But if you can build your Scentsy business to the point where you don't have to work another 9-to-5, or you get the option to only work Scentsy, or you can choose just to do this, you'll have all the flex that you want in the world. You will have all the wiggle room. You will get to make all the choices, and you won't get to have to feel so stressed or so overwhelmed or so anxious because of the demands of your job. Now, don't get me wrong that you can be in this business and also feel stressed and anxious and have demands, right? Often they're demands that we put on ourselves. Often stress, anxiety, and feeling demands are a result of us looking at someone else's journey and thinking that we have to do it the way they did, or thinking that they joined at the same time and they're farther along than me. Or why did they have this? I feel like I'm doing all the right things. Why am I not where they are? so often when we have any of those feelings in our business, it's because we've started looking left or looking right, and we stopped looking down at our own road that we're walking. And I'm guilty of it too. Okay. But this is about tonight. This is basically an accountability check, saying where are you looking left and where are you looking right? And where have you stopped looking at your own road? So I say all that to say this: what is it that you really want in your business? What is it that you really want? If you know what you want, throw it in the chat. I'd love to see. What is it that you really want? What is it that you really want out of your life? What kind of life do you want to lead? What do you want it to look like? Maybe it's not leave your career and do Scentsy full time and have that flex. That's cool. I support you. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But what is it that you really want? And then 9 to 5 dropout, kick the time clock to the curb. You guys, I'm not kidding you. Those were some of my biggest motivations in building my business for all these years. Kicking the time clock to the curb, not having to answer to someone else, not having someone sign my check, own my time, own my life, financial freedom. A lot of these were the same reasons that I was building a business. I want to own my own business, quit my full-time job, be a stay-at-home mom, build a big savings account for your baby's future. Huge. Do you guys, I know people that before Scentsy had never even had a savings account. How many of you don't have a savings account or didn't before Scentsy? Scentsy can provide you with that comfort. A savings account is a form of comfort. A savings account is a form of self-care. And Scentsy can be that. My motivation was not only kicking the time clock to the curb and being my own boss and really having true freedom and not being responsible to have someone else sign my paycheck, but also, was having my husband able to be home. My husband used to work 6 days a week and he'd leave the house at 8 o'clock and he wouldn't get home till 8:30 at the earliest, 6 days a week for 10 years. Okay. We ate dinner every night at 9 p.m. Every night. And some of you are rolling into bed like that, we just got to eat dinner together at 9 p.m. And we, you know what I mean? 10:30, 11 o'clock, wake up, go to sleep, wake up and do the whole thing all over again every week. And that was a big part of my motivation too. It was first it was take care of my time clock situation, but I want you to also know that you can take care of your time clock, but you can also take care of someone else's if you want to, because that's what I do. And that's what I'm doing. And that's what I'll continue to do. You have to decide what you want, but then you have to ask yourself, is what I want compelling enough to make me get up and move? Is what I want compelling enough to make me work when it's hard? Is what I want compelling enough to make me work if I don't feel like it, or life isn't normal, or I've been thrown a curveball, or something hurt my feelings? Okay? Is what I want compelling enough? And if it's not compelling enough, if you're struggling with consistency, or you're letting things like hurt feelings, or I don't feel good, or I'm overwhelmed, or I'm stressed, or I'm anxious, which are very real, valid things. I want you to know that, very real, valid things. But you know what helps you get over those things? A very compelling reason to work. And if you're struggling with consistency, I'm going to tell you, sometimes it's discipline, but it is almost always a not enough compelling reason to work. Almost always, you don't know your true why. You don't know what you really want. So what is it that you really want? And is it compelling enough to make you work? You need to ask those two very serious questions. And then you decide at that point, okay, now what am I going to do to get there? How do I want to get it? What am I willing to give up? And what am I not willing to give up? I'll tell you that now you guys know, I just had my daughter, she's almost 2, she'll be 2 in April. So I worked my business for 8 years with no kids. Working your business with kids and without kids is totally different. Okay, it is. Working your business with another job and without a job is totally different. Yes. When I started Scentsy, I was working 2 other jobs and I had no kids. Okay. But I gave up a lot of things for many years in my business to build the kind of business where I didn't have to give up things. Does that make sense? I gave up a lot of things for many years to give myself many more years of time that I didn't have to give up things. So I gave up nights out with friends. I gave up like going to events or like, you know, like let's say it's the fall and you want to go to the pumpkin patch. I gave up going to the pumpkin patch because I had a booth at the pumpkin patch and I was slinging Scentsy at the pumpkin patch. So I didn't get to put on a flannel shirt and go pick pumpkins and take cute photos for Instagram, but I did sell $2,000 in Scentsy and meet new contacts and build my business that day, right? I gave up a lot of things. I gave up sleep. I gave up time. You know, I gave up a lot of things for many years. But by doing that, you build a business where you don't have to give up things. You work so hard now so that later you can still work hard, but it's in a totally different way. And you actually have control over your time and your choices and your freedom and what you do and don't get to do. And I can't tell you how incredibly compelling that picture of a life was for me. For me, that was incredibly compelling. That life where I didn't have to give something up, or I didn't have to say no, or I could take my daughter out to lunch or to breakfast at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday because I felt like it, right? I didn't have to ask for that time off. Those of you who've been, I want to speak to two different groups of people. Those of you who've been with Scentsy for a little bit, for a while, okay? Maybe you're a leader, you've been with Scentsy for a year, 2 years, maybe you have a team. I want to ask you a couple questions. If you feel like you've lost your way or you're struggling with consistency or you just can't seem to get it right, or you just don't know where to pick up and start again because you stopped at some point, I want to ask you, did you stop having fun? Did you stop having fun? Because I think sometimes when we look left and we look right and we look at what other people are doing and we think we have to do what they do and we implement all these things into our business that really don't build our business or that just make us feel bad about ourselves, there's nothing fun about that. And when you stop having fun, I think you forget that like you sell things that smell good and that's the most fun job of all. You sell things that smell good. You sell things that smell good. Like maybe you need to write that on your wall. Like I sell things that smell good. So you remember that like this is lighthearted and fun and this is Scentsy. Are there things that you can do in Scentsy to build an incredible, huge business that pay you for generations to come more money than you could ever imagine? Yes, and I hope you do those things, but you've got to remember to have fun. And so if you feel like you've stopped having fun, I want you to do this. I want you to write down the 3 things that you do in your business that are the most fun for you. Maybe it's making samples, maybe it's sending cards, maybe it's editing a video. I don't know. It's different for every person. I don't care if it's income producing or not. Okay. You guys know I'm all about income producing activities. And that's the only thing I think you should do in your business. But I want you to write down the top 3 things that you think are fun in your business. And I want you to do those this week. And then I want to make sure that you do at least one of those fun things every single week. I don't care what it is. Is it watching a training? Is it organizing something? Is it putting things into a binder? Is it labeling things? I don't care what it is. Making wax samples. I mean, I don't care. It can be whatever is fun for you. You can be Scentsy crafts. You can make a wreath out of empty clamshells. I don't care. Like whatever is fun for you, do that. Because guys, like life is too short to not enjoy this. Okay. And this business is way too fun to not be having a good time. Don't lose sight of what's fun. Leaders, those of you with a team, did you lose sight of what you really do, which is connect with people and empower them? It's not be someone's boss. It's not tell someone what to do. It's not expect results. It's not run reports. It's not coach. And if they don't listen, you get butt hurt. It's not any of those things. Leaders, your job is to connect and empower. Connect with people, get to know them, find out what's going on in their life, empower them to build a business in the way that they want to. Did you forget that that's what you do as a leader? Teamies, if you are a consultant and you don't have a team, are you expecting too much from your leader? Are you demanding too much from your upline? That can be a huge source of losing your way, of getting frustrated in your business. If you're new to Scentsy, as in, let's say 6 months or less, don't forget to have fun forever and ever and ever and ever in your business. Always do things that are fun, whatever you think is most fun. And I can't even tell you, okay? You have to decide what's most fun for you, because honestly, what's most fun for you is probably not what's most fun for me. That's because I am an Enneagram. Does anyone like the Enneagram personality types? Okay, I'm like obsessed. I really like it. I'm an 8 wing 9, which means having fun is really hard for me. I'm not a fun by nature kind of person. Okay, so having fun is like really stretching myself. So things that are fun for me are probably not fun for you. You can find fun in probably things that I'd be like, I'll just sit in the corner and sip iced coffee instead, right? But maybe it's crafts, maybe it's writing thank you notes, maybe it's making a video, maybe it's training yourself, reading a book, styling a warmer and taking a picture for Instagram. Maybe it's just smelling your testers. If smelling your testers is so fun for you, do that once a week. I'm not kidding you. Do it once a week. You guys, when we used to have home parties, okay? When we used to have home parties, I used to sit on the floor and smell testers with the guests for 10 years, no matter how long. You know how many times I smelled black raspberry vanilla and clean breeze and vanilla bean buttercream and Luna? But I did it every single party, and every single party it reminded me that, hey, I sell something that smells good. Hey, I really do like this job. And that for me was fun. That for me was enjoyable. And that for me was sort of grounding in a way. Do something that's fun in your business for you every single week. Newbies, get accountable. Find someone to hold you accountable. Accountable to being consistent, accountable to ditching excuses, and accountable to having fun. Newbies, build a team to take with you. Build a team to take with you. Building a team is not as scary as you think if you don't have a team. It's not as scary as you think. It's a lot more fun than you think. And it's just about taking people with you and having a good time together. It's not more complicated than that. And guys, I feel like in our business, when we get overwhelmed, frustrated, anxious, it's because we've forgotten that we sell things that smell good. We've lost sight of simplicity. We've started looking left and looking right. We've started implementing things in our business that other people say we have to do to be successful. But you don't have to do to be successful any of those things that anyone's telling you to do. I just want you to know that. You have to do what works for you. Are there guiding principles? Of course. Simplicity, authenticity, generosity. Those are your guiding principles. Every time. Those are the Scentsy core values. That's what we live and die by. That's how we build a business. Everything you do in business should be run through that simplicity, authenticity, generosity filter. Those are your guiding principles. Have fun. Take people with you. Don't forget to have a good time. And do what works for you in your business, in your life, with all of its ebbs and flows, with its hard times. Set yourself up for success in knowing that no 2 weeks of your life are ever going to look the same. No 2 months are ever going to look the same. And as long as you've done your best, whatever that looks like, as long as you've done your best, you have no reason to ever be disappointed in yourself or your team or your performance or your team's performance. Don't compare this week to last week or this month to last month. Don't worry about any of the previous months you've had or weeks you've had or days you've had. Guys, my last guiding principle that I'm going to leave you with is always be looking forward. Never look back. Never look back at what you did or who you were, because that doesn't determine who you're going to be. Who you're going to be is determined by the choices you make every single day. I think it was at a Scentsy Family Reunion that Robin Benincasa, who is an athlete, she spoke and she said, don't look back, you're not going that way. And I was like, oh my gosh, if that ain't the gospel right there. So that's the last thing I want to leave you with tonight.
It's Peter Leywine. This is my store. I've been selling pens and paper and ink for over 30 years now. When we had to close the door,
I don't know where you are,
the bottom fell out of the business.
Oh my gosh.
For the
1 second.
No.
Chrome. Oh.
Oop.
All right. How good was that? How good was that? I love Jennifer Anderson. I will share the video if anybody wants to share it with your group or people, or want to rewatch it. She's so good. She's so good. I hope it got louder. Did it get louder? Yeah, and you guys can hear it? Okay, good, good. She's so good. I always watch that. And that's what I used to do when I first started Scentsy, is that I would just watch a video and then literally just share what I just watched, because I just didn't feel like I was a good leader. So guys, we have a ton of tools at our fingertips. We can go and do that. You can do that. You can go and watch a video and then share with your sponsor or whatever. But it was just so amazing to hear. As you can see, I didn't have Journey now. I have Journey, so things are just like, okay. Anyways, things are good. We sell things that smell good. We love our job. We are excited. We are passionate. We need to share that with the world. The more we share that with the world, the more everyone is going to want to jump on board. I keep telling people, like, you know, if you ever want to do what I'm doing, you know, if ever you want to start your own online store, everything's going online. You know, if you ever want to do what I'm doing, let me know. All right. Any last minute questions? No? Okay, let's do a little funny picture. 1 second. I'm going to extend my screen so I can get more people as people fix their hair. I love it. 1 second. All right. 1, 2, 3. Wonderful. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I am sending you all the happy vibes. You send me all the happy vibes. We're going to have a great day. It's going to be a great week. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be as good as we want it to be. All right. We are strong cookies. We are courageous. I want you all to go live this week and go live and showcase a brand new product or a brand new bar. All right. So that is your goal. And when you go live, I'd love for you to tag me. Love you guys. Bye.